year before last. 60,000, sexual predators. Not all of them were child molesters. 60,000 of them dropped off into the homeless community. Right now, about 30,000 of those are concentrated between Redding, California, and Skid Row in Los Angeles. We're forced to take care of the disabled because these agencies and these places that you are paying your taxes to, these agencies that were created because poor families could not do these things. Because there were so many disabled people that were being abused the way that I am. There were laws created so there's agencies that are supposed to help us. So then you think that these agencies are going to help us. No, they still don't help us unless you have family. So it doesn't do any good. It only helps those who already have resources that it's not set up for. None of these resources are supposed to be for the people they're actually going to. If you have family, these resources that are supposed to go to people without families, without family who cares, without actual help, actual at-risk adults, that's what these programs are for. If you've got family that's helping you with those things, you aren't as at risk as those on the streets. See, here's the difference between a victim who has family who cares and a victim out on the streets. A victim who has family who cares isn't going to be on the streets. The government agencies that send you to each other saying it's not their job, it's not their job, it's not their job when you're a disabled homeless male. Magically, it's all of their job if you have just one family member who gives a shit to actually try. Did my sister actually try? No, her actions showed that she was only interested in the money. They also show that she fleeced me. She lied to me.
They're super hot.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. At least I got food today, right? I'm pretty good to the people in the Shell station. I'm pretty good to the people everywhere I go in real life. The person I have to be on the internet is because I don't get the help I need in real life. If someone's going to bitch about my problems or bitch about their problems to me, I'll help them with their problems. If they're telling me about a problem that needs to be turned into the police, especially if it's ongoing, I will help to turn it in. If you're not willing to turn it in, well, I'm going to tell you that I don't speak bitch. If all you're going to do is bitch about it and you're going to take 0 steps to do anything to change it, you're a bitch. Stop fucking bitching at me. I have my own goddamn problems. If you're going to go off about fucking child molesters and Epstein fucking Island every fucking time we speak to each other, and you're going to do what that old man does with the N-word. I told him I don't like that word. Stop calling me that word. That's not my name. Cops told me it's not illegal for him to call me the N-word. Well, you know, I know probably close to 100 black people who got away with beating the shit out of somebody for calling them the N-word. If I beat the shit out of somebody for calling me the N-word, what's going to happen to me? The problem with all of these fucking idiots is that they don't think it through. I can tell them 1,000 times the same thing over and over again, and they're going to forget that and make the same suggestion. No, with the title of mentally ill that they have me pegged with, that my predators all prey on. No, absolutely not. It doesn't work the way that you pretend it works. Those of you who are female, it's way worse trying to get help from y'all because you get help. And you assume that because we're men, we automatically get that help too. Or There's the even worse part. When you're turned down, oh, well, if they won't give it to women, they shouldn't give it to men. If I can't get the help, then a man shouldn't be allowed to get the help. That's kind of like when you go to a party with your friend, right? And you're the dorky one. This has happened to me more than once because although I'm not all that physically attractive, I am very entertaining. I'm very funny. And, well, I have a hell of a personality in real life. And, of course, there's people like Josh Martindale. Well, there was more than once where a woman was wanting to get attention from me instead of him. Oh my God, when you're a good-looking person, that pisses you off, doesn't it? Those of you fat girls who have a pretty friend that you go out with, you know what that's like. There's a guy, just happens to be a chubby chaser, and he's giving you attention. He likes bigger women. You know, he doesn't like fake people who are going to try to do all this stuff to paint on a face and try to create an image of themselves that's fake as fuck. They want a real woman, a real person to be their friend. Maybe they want more than that. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're feeling out the situation. But guess what? You got that pretty friend. Oh, hell no. There is no way that Fatty is getting laid and I'm not. I'm going to have to sabotage this. Yes, women will cock block, same as a man. Although it's not called cock blocking if a woman does it, is it? That's where we come into the women's laws and the men's laws. Oh, well, you don't tell on a guy who's cheating. Well, you know what? I'm going to. If I'm friends with your girlfriend and I know that you're cheating, I'm going to let her fucking know. There's also a good chance that she'll treat me like I'm a piece of shit for being honest. That's the great thing about going to men. When Big Jason Jepson in Chapel, Nebraska, when he wanted to know where his computer went, what did I do? Well, I've got a brain. I went and found out where his computer went. It went to a woman named Crystal and her boyfriend, Tom Nelson, of Garden County. They're the ones that told me that Jason's wife was the one who was selling all of Jason's things and stealing all of his things because she wanted meth. Tom Nelson and Crystal were Brandy Fish's meth dealers. Alright, I want to say one good thing about that computer that was destroyed by my little sister's friend. At least some of the evidence that was on there I was able to get on YouTube. At least some of it is on my YouTube channel. I'm not going to pretend I didn't break the law. I did so out of necessity to save lives. And in those cases and instances, it is not against the law. If it's 107 degrees and there's a baby in a black car or a dog in a black car with the windows rolled up, there's nobody around. Yeah, I'm going to break that fucking window. It's not vandalism. You're going to fucking kill that baby or you're going to kill that fucking dog. Hell no, I will not have that. Human life is worth more than your crap. Whether it's a beat-up Volkswagen Beetle from 1970 or a brand new Maserati, I'll break the fucking window. If that's what it takes, that's what I will do. There's a lot of these folks who are dead because they didn't come forward. You know how much that hurts? They're dead because they didn't come forward. God, that's stupid. It's a stupid way to go. Especially when you're leaving family behind. When you're leaving children behind. All because they didn't want to tell the truth. When these people wanted to come to me for help after stabbing me in the back, God damn. You know, they could have told the truth to begin with. If they'd have done that, I'd have still had the ability to rescue them when they called me up and needed it. Even after stabbing me in the back, I tried to help them out best I could. They're dead because I couldn't help them the way that they needed, and I couldn't help them the way that they needed because they made zero effort to help me the way that I needed. Zero effort to speak out. Zero effort to go in with me to turn in these crimes. How many people went in with me to help me turn in these crimes? Laura Nelson and what's that woman's name? Molly Smith. There's one more. Stephanie Mejia. Out of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of crimes that I tried to turn in that were committed against me, only 3 times did I have someone go in with me. And I was glad for those occasions, and it cost me a lot of time and a lot of effort. You drop off child molesters on us, and we're expected to take care of them because killing them like you guys say that we should be doing. Yes, we should be killing these child molesters. We should be killing these child molesters. We should be taking them up the mountain and pushing them off a cliff. Blah, 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 blah. You expect us to do that. You're not going to do it. You expect the homeless to do it. The people that you victimize the most. The people that you treat the worst. Now, there's people here who are obviously schizophrenic, but they're obviously not violent people. And of course, there's a lot of homeless people here, like that guy with the 2 dogs, who want to say that they'll assault the living shit out of these people over and over again out of the homeless community. But you know what? I get it out of the housing community too. All of your solutions are violent. When I speak out about how your solutions are wrong, I get treated like I'm threatening people's lives. Meanwhile, at least I recorded the situation. I recorded the situation prior to my court dates. Repeated court dates I was prevented from going to. If there was somebody who went with me just to show support, that's not what I needed them for. I needed them to pay attention to the proceedings. And I needed them to help me turn in the crimes. I needed them to look at the evidence and help me turn in the crimes. If you're not able to help the way that I need, I have to find somebody who can. If you're going to lie to me and tell me that you're going to help the way that I need, and you're going to lie to me and mislead me on multiple occasions over and over again, and you're going to help my predators get away, and you're going to play victim when I show the truth, you never intended on helping me. It was just entertainment to you. For you, it's just drama so you can look away. People will make any excuse. Here's the problem with all of these people that offered to help me, is that I am an at-risk adult. What they did was take advantage of me, especially the ones in Nebraska where they are all mandated reporters. I can't do these things for myself, and all of these people know it. And then they try to convince me not to get these resources. No, I absolutely need a fucking guardian. That's what I needed first, a guardian and a fucking advocate. We could have dealt with all of this in a peaceful way. We could have stopped all of this over a year before Natalie was fucking killed by the police taking the situation seriously when they took me to the hospital. Instead, they did everything that I was afraid that they would do, that officer told me, he swore up and down that they weren't going to do, and they did those things anyway. He said they weren't going to tow my vehicle. He said that they weren't just going to drop me off at the hospital. He said the hospital was going to help me. They weren't just going to drop me off with a piece of paper. And well, that's exactly what they did. They gave me the paperwork and shoved me out the door. The closest place on that list was 8 miles away, and I had no vehicle now. I had no charger. Everything I owned was in the vehicle that they towed. I needed help. I didn't need to be abused for trying to get help. And now it's been 6 years of abuse because of slander from almost 7 years ago now. It's been 6 years of abuse. The cops didn't take it seriously then. Matter of fact, they took it upon themselves to play vigilante and break my vehicle further to retaliate against me for stalking some girl. They wouldn't even look at the evidence to show that I didn't stalk her. Then again, I wasn't charged with stalking, was I? No, I was taken to the hospital. Why? Because I was dehydrated. Dehydrated. The communication issues that we had was because Alicia Bollinger gave me Natalie Bollinger's old busted phone. There's a reason that Natalie Bollinger was using a different broken phone. The phone that she had to replace the one that I was given. The one that her sister did not have permission to give me. I mean, the look of terror that was on Natalie Bollinger's eyes when she realized that her sister had given me that phone. That was all the way in Virginia in 2016. The abuse against me started as soon as I got back. Well, that's not true. It started before I was even out of Virginia. I wasn't even to Tennessee yet when I was having those issues with Maddie Bo. I tried letting her know what was going on, but then again, that didn't matter to her. What mattered to her is that she had a big old ginormous crush and wanted the set. She wanted to have a physically intimate relationship. What the hell is this thing? Sephora Balmy Leverus Petchy Peach Lip Balm. Huh. Well, I won't use it for my lips, but it's useful for something. Anyway, you guys dump all of these wretches of the earth in with the victims. Those of us who are victims of sexual assault. Those of us who are victims of sexual abuse and physical abuse and judicial abuse. Those of us who are dropped off with nothing and our lives are nothing but abuse. And then you dump all of these child molesters and rapists into our community. You dump all of these schizophrenics into our community. You dump all of these people with PTSD into our community and you pretend like they're schizophrenic and delusional. So we got two sides to the homeless issue. We got the half who actually are the predators that you claim they are. They actually are those predators. But the other half are the victims of those predators. And we're forced to live with those people. We're not allowed to get rid of them because it's a hate crime. And then you victimize victims. I'm not protected because I'm not a registered sex offender. Do you know why I'm not a registered sex offender? Because I don't go raping people. I don't go fucking little kids. Why is Robert Franklin Warnick one of the sexual predators that the Dual County Sheriff's Department assisted in getting away with committing crimes against me? Why is he on the Nebraska Sex Offender Registry? Well, that would be because he committed a felony sexual assault against a child. The cops will help that fucking Chimo to get away with his crimes because these are literally the officers I was trying to turn in. Being forced to go to officers that had repeatedly committed crimes against me and repeatedly broken the law to prevent me from turning them in. And these are the guys you're telling me I have to go to? No, it's Nebraska State Patrol's job. with the situation with Polly Olson. According to Scott DaCosta, I supposedly threatened to kill Polly Olson, and Polly Olson was having Nebraska State Patrol investigate. Well, Nebraska State Patrol, apparently in their investigation, realized that I didn't threaten to kill Polly Olson, and now Polly Olson is on her way to prison for embezzling $18,000 from Dual County. Who spoke out about her embezzling that money? Who spoke out about her fleecing the taxpayers of Dual County, the state of Nebraska, and the United States to cover up the crimes of herself and her friends in Dual County Sheriff's Department? It is a crooked county. We all know it's crooked. I have the evidence that it's crooked. That's the thing about these fucking idiots. I have the fucking evidence. Help me turn it in. Either you are going to help me turn it in or you're not trying to help. Plain and simple. This is not rocket science. All of these people who offered to help and promised to help and said that they would help, the ones that I stayed with are the ones who offered to help how I needed. They offered to help me to turn in these crimes. Later on, after the fact, they want to claim that that's not what they were trying to do. That wasn't the bargain. That wasn't the deal. Well, all bets are off now, bud. Now, literally every part of your information, every part of your life, I can post up. Every bit of it. All of the shit that you wanted to fucking pour down my throat. All the poison you wanted to put in my ear. By the way, that's a reference. It's a reference to Greek mythology as well as Greek culture and practices. It's also a reference to several poisonings in the books of William Shakespeare. Putting poison in someone's ear doesn't always mean actual poison. Sometimes it's the words. That's why we can't be playing telephone. If you, me, and that person that I need to talk to get something done are all three on the phone and it is recorded, and I have access to those recordings, if you pull some shady shit later on, or you try to claim something happened that didn't, or you try to claim that I said something that I didn't, or you try to jump across the timeline, like many people, there's things that I said later on that I hadn't said to begin with. I was accused of saying those things, but I hadn't. Well, later on I did. If you're going to accuse me of saying those things, I'll say them. Depending on what they are. I'm not willing to use the N-word. We need to do something about the corruption. We know that the KKK runs Chapel, Nebraska. We're already aware of this. But you guys, despite your racism, you don't want to understand that all of America is taught to hate the homeless and the disabled. You're taught that we're all child molesters and rapists. We're all out there because we're mentally ill or we're too lazy to get a job. No, you're clumping those who are disabled with our predators. You are forcing us into a situation where people who have shown they have no remorse for their crimes, don't care what they do to another human being, including children. And you're putting them into a community of the most victimized people in America, people who are victimized to the point where they can no longer function as human beings. And you're putting a bunch of predators in their environment. And you're forcing us to constantly move. Once we have realized who it is that we can trust and cannot trust in the community, you're already pushing us off to the next one. This is not okay. To be victimized everywhere because we're not human beings according to your society. With all these people who claimed that they were going to help me get this into court. The question that needs to be asked of all of them is, why didn't you try? If you knew these things, and it's recorded, so it's not like they can deny it now. If you knew these things, why didn't you try to come forward? Why didn't you try to help this at-risk adult turn this in? Why didn't you do that? What was their excuses before, and what are their excuses now? Why are they different? Why did you change your story? Why did you tell Sean Schwartz one thing and tell us another? Why did you refuse to look at evidence after you told him if he invested the time, energy, money, and other resources into going to see you, to show you in person? Why didn't you look? If you're going to judge Sean Schwartz for yelling, why did you yell at Sean? Why did you scream at him? Why did you berate him? And why do you think that you deserve special treatment for your actions and your behaviors towards an at-risk adult? Why do you believe that you should get away with gaslighting an at-risk adult? Why do you think that you should get away with assaulting an at-risk adult? Why do you think that you should get away? Why do you think that it is okay for you to do those things to an at-risk adult? Why do you think it is okay to assault an at-risk adult? Why did you think those things were okay? What is it in your life that would make you believe for even a moment that those things are okay? Why did you get drunk and assault Sean instead of helping him? Why did you place stipulations on Sean that prevented him from doing the things he needed to do when you promised to help him to do those things? Why didn't you take the time to do the things that you told Sean that you would do? Why is it that you, having evidence of abuse against an at-risk adult, made literally zero effort to turn it into the police? Why? See, these are all things that are verified on my YouTube channel. That's just on my YouTube channel. Why didn't Kara Johnson Miles come forward? Why didn't Danica Garner come forward? Why didn't Rochelle Shelley Campbell come forward? Why didn't Rose M. Kelly come forward? Why did they incite violence against me and then play victim? Why did they lie to people over and over again, inciting actual violence against me, knowingly, willingly, and intelligently, as well as maliciously? Why? Why did they lie to law enforcement? Because they knew that they would get away with it. They didn't ever give a shit about Natalie. And all of this, you can see there was a grand total of one person in Natalie's life who actually gave a shit about her as a human being. There was one person in Natalie's life, one, who takes responsibility for their actions. And that one person is me. There is one person in Natalie's life who actually tried to help her how she needed, and that person is me. She victimized the shit out of me to make her predators happy. She wanted to believe that her family had her best interests at heart when they were telling her what kind of a person I am, without even finding out what kind of a person I am from her. Her mom doesn't choose very good men. She chose horrible men over her own daughters. And that got Natalie killed. When I say I take responsibility for my part in Natalie's death, I absolutely do. But you're holding me responsible for all of her predators. You're holding me responsible for all of my predators. You are holding me responsible for things that are not my fault, not my choice, and not my decision. You tell me that I wanted, needed, or chose this victimization. I wanted, needed, or chose these things because of slander. Slander. I deserve to be harmed because Natalie lied. I deserve to be harmed because Maddie Boa lied. I deserve to be harmed because you, who promised to help me, wanted to call me up only when you were drunk off your ass. to tell me about yourself and talk about yourself and lie out your ass at me? Why is it that I'm being called schizophrenic for saying that the people who offered to help me had their lives threatened? Especially when I have many of those people, including Sarah Bacon, recorded and on my YouTube channel, admitting to those things on my YouTube channel. Why did they never come forward? She claims now it's because she's a felon. I don't give a fuck if you're a felon. You're a fucking witness. There's lots of fucking felons who are witnesses against me who outright lied, and they were heard because they actually tried. What efforts did you make? Sarah Bacon, how many times did you try calling these places with me for my safety and for yours? Where is your evidence that you ever made any of the efforts that you claim that you made? My help gaslighted me. They did not work together with me. They did not work together with each other. Matter of fact, they went at each other's throats. Yes, everybody was fucking paranoid because we were all being threatened, harassed, and intimidated. All of us. The people who were trying to help me, they didn't know if these new profile Seans were actually me or if they were some fucking internet nut job. Well, most of the time it was an internet nut job. Then I got people telling me, oh, well, Sean, you told me this or you told me that, or no, fucking show me the proof. And then they send me a messenger that's got a fake fucking Sean Schwartz profile. I'm like, that's not me. That doesn't look a fucking thing like me. One of them, it was I want to say like a Chicago Bulls logo for the fucking profile. I don't think it was Chicago Bulls. It was something like that. It was just like, maybe it was the Utah Raptors or I don't know. But the point of it is, like, I don't give a shit about sports. Why the hell would I have any sort of sport logo up instead of my picture? There's other ones that are fake profiles made of me by a lot of these web wingnuts, these mentally ill people, these schizophrenics and otherwise hateful individuals who didn't get what they wanted in their lives. They want someone they can take it out on. Oh, well, if I take it out on Sean Schwartz, then I'm doing the righteous and justified thing. No, you're not. You're abusing an innocent man over slander and doing everything that you can to prevent that man from showing the truth. People are dead. I don't give a fuck about your bullshit. Amanda DeMette wants to play victim. She can go ahead and play victim. Megan Misigatis wants to play victim. She can go ahead and play victim. The fact remains, why didn't you try to help me turn these things in? Knowing that these things were happening, being sent the evidence so that you have the evidence to look at, telling me that you will help me to turn these things in, but did you ever? No, the whole time I was locked up in prison, despite the fact that Megan Misigatis' instructions were to send all of that evidence to Nebraska State Patrol, she literally never did. She never did, by her own admission. Why did she lie to me? Why didn't she do that? Why didn't she help turn in any of these crimes? There's only one crime that she brings up that she says that she tried to help me turn in. That was the assault by Joshua Rayborn. No, she didn't help me turn that in. She was not there. She was not present. She wasn't even on the fucking phone when I was trying to turn him in. So yeah, don't fucking bullshit me, Meg. See, that's the difference between what people have to say when they're being recorded and they know it, and when people don't think they're being recorded. The stuff that Megan Misigatis had to say when she knew she was being recorded is a lot different. Kind of like the, well, because I was a victim, we needed to get me an advocate. There was a group with Evan Daka and Cara Rogers, aka Carmia, and Lan Engeline and Amanda Engeline and a lot of other people. They wanted to tell me that, because I needed an advocate. So they hooked me up with the victim's rights advocate in Broomfield. And And they wanted to pretend like because they gave me this lady's number that I now had an advocate and I had help. No. When I called that woman the first time, I didn't have the ability to record it. I explained to Carl Rogers, I don't have the ability to record it. The lady said it's fine for me to leave state. The only thing is I gotta wait till Monday because I need to be able to go get my flip phone because it shows that I'm being victimized over fucking lies. My flip phone is Ken and Leah's. I can't go back to Ken and Leah's. They're not gonna let me go back there. It doesn't matter how much rent I paid. It doesn't matter that they fleeced the fuck out of me or that I had to pay them whatever they wanted to extort out of me because I no longer had a place to go. I had to choose between living in Chapel, Nebraska, where it just made me want to fucking blow my head off. Everybody's fucking glum. Everybody. Or they expect you to be happy for no fucking reason. Everybody's on fucking meth or on fucking alcohol or like with Brenda Dickinson, she's on pharmaceuticals. The doctor gives her the drugs that make her fucking nuttier than shit. Doctors do that. These things are illegal. A lot of people want to tell me it's illegal. They can't do that. I know they can't. But instead of trying to help me to turn it in, instead of looking at the evidence, they just treat me like the cops. No cop would ever commit a crime. They're all Boy Scouts, and I must be lying because cops can't do it. Let me tell you something. Catholic priests are not supposed to fuck little boys in the asshole. They still do it. If you want to say priests can't fuck little boys in the asshole, then you're a fucking idiot. When a little boy comes up to you and says, hey, my priest fucked me in the asshole, you're going to be an asshole to the victim. You've already shown this. You don't give a fuck. You've already assumed. You've already assumed. You gotta do something. Now, there's hundreds of people out here, all of them complaining about the same shit. But they won't speak up about it. They'll just talk to the fucking peanut gallery. If you're not willing to do something about it, if you're not willing to go in and turn it into the fucking cops, I'm not going to believe you. Yes, I understand that in 99% of these cases, the situations they're talking about did happen. However, if you're not going to turn it in, I'm going to treat you like a liar. I don't want to fucking hear it if you're not going to do anything about it. If all you're going to do is bitch, and someone offers help, and the only way that actually does help, you're not willing to try it, you just want to bitch that nobody will fucking help you. I needed help turning the crimes in. That's it. That is it. I needed help turning in the evidence. What I got was help destroying evidence. I didn't want any of that evidence destroyed. I didn't want any of the evidence that Christine Buhit destroyed to be destroyed. I needed that evidence to show in fucking court. Why did Christine Buhit destroy all that evidence? Because they gave her housing. Why did they give her housing? Because she destroyed all that evidence. Everybody's got their fucking price. What's my price? What's it going to cost for me to become Judas? It's not my fault that people don't care. It's not my fault that they wanted to give me lip service until I was out of resources and then tell me I wanted it, needed it, chose it, or deserved it. They wanted to be angry because I told the truth about their situations and posted up evidence that I told the truth. So what did they do? Slandered my name and played victim. I'm sorry, dumbass. I understand that without help, I'm not going to be able to show any of that in court. That's why I put it on YouTube. I am trying to get help turning in the crimes. Anything other than that is a waste of fucking time. Help me to show the evidence. I spent all of that money helping my little sister because I needed her to actually help me in the way that we had agreed upon. What she did is go out of her way to make it a fucking party while she was drugged out of her fucking board. Meanwhile, my little sister can go to my predators in law enforcement and pretend whatever the hell she wants and they'll help her get away with it. And you know what? She just might, because she is looking at felonies. It's a lot of money to rip somebody off. If she was legit, followed by the cops and threatened, well then, we need to turn that in. But someone needs to help me to do so. My little sister is not the only victim in that. When people say the victim needs to come forward, no. I am the victim. I am the victim in that scenario. Either my sister is ripping me off, or you are again threatening, harassing, and intimidating people who are trying to help. One or the other. No matter how you try to cut the cookie, the evidence shows that I was victimized. Victimized by both my little sister and the Dual County Sheriff's Department. You guys don't deserve your rights. You don't deserve your lives. You don't deserve the oxygen in your lungs or the brains in your fucking heads. You don't deserve the beating hearts in your chests. You deserve to be victimized long term. You deserve to be abused in the ways that you look away from when it happens to someone else. If you are willing to look away from someone being raped, to allow that person to be raped, to allow their rapist to get away, you're not the victim when that person rapes you now. No, you asked for it. You don't like hearing that? No, you asked for it. You are the reason that rapist is free to rape people, because you did nothing. You did nothing because you didn't care. You wanted to mind your business. But then all of a sudden you want help, you want people to listen, you want somebody to do something when that very same man rapes you. That very same man. Kind of like in Spider-Man, and I know I come up with the comic books a lot. With great power comes great responsibility. No, I don't think I'm Spider-Man. But here's the point about Spider-Man. That guy goes in there, right? And he rips off the guy that took advantage of Tobey Maguire. The thief goes in there and rips him off and runs off with all the money. And Tobey Maguire allows that thief to run off and does nothing. He gets snarky with the man who was just stolen from him. And what happens? Well, that thief runs down the street and shoots Uncle Ben. Unintended consequences. Unintended consequences. Just because you didn't intend the consequences doesn't mean they don't actually exist. The consequences of you not listening, of you treating me like I'm a retard, of you telling me what to do, think, and feel, of you literally doing the things that you are trained not to do. When it comes to pushing people to suicide, you guys all do the things that push a person to suicide. You ignore the abuse. You tell them they got to take care of it themselves. But then when something happens to you, and I say this a lot, I say it often, I say it multiple times in many of my videos. You want everybody to care when it happens to you. These are all horrible people for ignoring you when it happens to you, but what happened when it happened to them first? How did you treat them when it happened to them? And then you want them to help you after you treated them like that? You expect them to drop everything and help you even though you are still not willing to help them? Even though you threw it in their faces, oh, I can't just drop everything whenever you want. Well, there's a big difference between dropping everything whenever I want and blowing me off for 6 months and then saying, well, I can't be there 24/7. I didn't ask you to be there for 24/7. You haven't been here at all. At all. Zero. The stuff that Brenda Dickinson knew about, she didn't come forward with. So guess what? I'm not going to protect her or keep her secrets. I won't do it. Most of us who were in her youth group were her pot customers. She didn't start selling me pot till I was 16. I'm not the only person that she sold pot to. She sold pot to Ryan Daly. She sold pot to Brianna Ingersoll. She sold pot to my little sister. She sold pot to my older brother Eric. She sold pot to my little brother Michael. Her and her husband continued to sell pot until Dennis Dickinson got popped with a hot UA at Cabela's. So he quit smoking pot. But his wife continued to sell it. This is a woman who, before Natalie was killed, this woman told me she thought of me as a son. Really? Could have fooled me. A lot of people don't want to get involved once they're already involved. They want to stick their nose in my business, and then they want to victimize me. And then they want to say, oh, I don't got nothing to do with it. I don't want nothing to do with it. It's too late, motherfucker. It's too late. You have already shown yourself to be a shining example of why the most victimized people in America are victimized. We're victimized because you don't care. We are at-risk adults because you don't care. We are at-risk adults because we are not allowed the rights or the privileges that you take for granted. We are at-risk adults because police are not going to do their jobs. Nobody is going to do their jobs for somebody who is called quote-unquote mentally ill. You have cast a shadow of doubt on everything that they say, so they have to show you the evidence. But then when you refuse to look at it, well, now you're creating a scenario whereby you are obstructing justice and assisting predators in getting away, including sexual predators like Tim Beeson and Ted Bollinger and Robert Franklin Warnick, and of course, Mark Richmond. Mark Richmond destroyed his own daughter's life. Destroyed it by being a fucking pervert. Now, just like I told you about Chapel, Nebraska, the Richmond family accepts Mark Richmond despite the fact that he did immoral things to his own underage daughter. And the family, rather than helping her, they cast her out. They talk trash about her, tell her that she wanted, needed it, chose it, and deserved it. When she went missing back in 2014, I did everything I could to help find her. Her sister Nicole found her, thank goodness. I was the only person to go see her. I went down to Jefferson County Jail. She said that she was going to get railroaded if she wasn't bailed out. I already knew that to be true. So she wanted me to go downstairs and get her stuff out of property and evidence and to pawn it so that I could get her out of jail. But they wouldn't let me. Y'all got ideas about how it works, but you don't bother to ask the victims. You don't bother to find out. You want to tell us how it is according to your point of view. Now, fuck your point of view. This isn't about a point of view. This is about evidence. This isn't about your opinion or your life. This is about evidence and turning it in. That is all it is about. All of these other hoops that I'm jumping through, once I've jumped through them, that's it. People are still going to continue to ignore the abuse against me, and I'm still forced to go to the same fucking people. No, if I have to turn in a crime to the police, I can't be having Megan Missigatis arguing with me for 6 months. I can't be having Jen Beebe court ordered to do that job and ignoring me for 6 months. I can't have people treating me like I'm a bad guy because they did somebody else's job. No, I was trying to get that person to do their job. Megan Missigatis could have helped me with the situation with Jen Beebe. Those people were taking funds for things they weren't doing, and even with court orders, they wouldn't follow instructions. The people that I went to try to get help about it dismissed me and blew me off, including Marcia Estrada. Yeah, she verified that those people are how I say they are, that they do exist, so obviously I'm not schizophrenic. Obviously, it's not people that I'm hallucinating. Obviously, her belief in their work ethic, well, it coincides with my stories now, don't it? Of course it does. What about her knowledge of Scott DaCosta pulling the shit that he's pulling against somebody else in Chapel, Nebraska? That establishes a routine. You can't do anything about the laws, huh? No, you absolutely can, but you're a bitch. You want to bitch about it on Facebook, but do nothing to change it. And when it comes to somebody like me who doesn't matter, well, you'd rather your reputation isn't tarnished by telling the truth. That don't make any sense. My predators knew that I couldn't do these things myself. So they did everything that they could to cut me off from the resources I needed. It's the same to this day. To all you out there who knew the truth but did nothing to stop any of this, don't ever come to me for help. I don't speak bitch.